Afternoon, welcome. And it's Claire Picton here. Now, welcome on this Wednesday afternoon. And all you nurses, midwives, and whether you're a leader or you consider yourself a leader of nurses or of midwives, then I'm sure you probably are. And I'm here as a nurse, but also a coach who is absolutely passionate about keeping people like you in the nursing or midwifery profession, because let's face it, things are not looking too rosy in the nurse and midwifery garden if we're to believe all the media have to say. Actually, I don't believe all that the media have to say, and I think that you have so much to give, and I'm really wanting to help you to be able to plug back into or up level if you feel that you really are giving as much as you can give, to up level your contribution so that patients, residents, service users, clients, whatever you want to call them, can actually benefit from the service that you're giving them. And make no mistake, you're giving them a service. So what's my service about? Well, I want to be of service to you because I know from my background as a nurse how hard it can be to give to other people all the time. And I've learned a lot over the last 3 years since I left the NHS at the end of 2014, so 3-4 years, how much more I can give if actually I have developed myself and learned how to receive as well as to give to others. And so I think key factors that we don't always think about or we're not always taught about when we're looking at what nursing and midwifery actually is. Clearly it's a service and it's one where we give to other people, but there's a lot of talk in the media, and I hear people like you saying that you're undervalued, and I'm interested to know where that comes from and to know whether actually I can assist with you with that, because valuing ourselves comes from within ourselves, which is not to say that I'm blaming you for feeling undervalued. Absolutely not. What I'm saying is it's a shift and a different way that we should be looking at things, or could be looking at things, that might help us to really start to talk about what it is that we as nurses do in terms of how we keep the population safe, and not just about in acute settings but chronic settings and prevention as well. And I am a big believer in prevention and thinking about how we prevent nurses and midwives leaving the profession, but also why do they leave the profession? And there's been a lot of work and research done on how nurses and midwives feel stressed, get burnt out, find that give all the time actually is just exhausting for them. And there are other ways of doing it. There are other ways of being, which it's really important to find out about if you haven't found out about yet, before you get to the point where you are tearing your hair out and you just don't know that you can give any more back to the people that you care for. So I'm here to tell you that it is possible. And how do I know that? It's because I've lived it and I've been through the same sort of difficult situations that you've been through. And I understand how hopeless it can feel and how much I feel torn, as I'm sure you feel torn, about giving to your people, residents, patients, service users, carer, clients, whatever you want to call them, and how you feel things like that at the end of a shift you really can't leave because there's this one thing that needs doing, and then something else happens and something else needs doing. And it's so easy for us as nurses and midwives to feel that we have to stay and just do that last thing. And sometimes we do. because it feels congruent with us. It's in alignment with who we are and what we want to give. But sometimes it's actually about passing the baton on to other people. And even if we feel that there aren't enough other people to pass it on to, sometimes we just have to trust that we're doing that and flag up any concerns with managers using things like DATEX, incident reporting, any of those things, to just flag up that as nurses and midwives, we're understaffed and there aren't enough of us. But that doesn't mean that you have to be the one to bear the brunt of that and you have to cover all the time. But if you feel like you do, then, as I say, there may be different ways of working that actually, rather than you leaving the nursing or midwifery profession, you can actually get your aims clear in your mind about what it is that you do when you go to work and how you finish work. So maybe just something that sounds really simple is like your end time is whatever it is, 8 o'clock this evening. And yet some of you will know that when it comes to that time, you will find it really hard to leave. Prevention, planning ahead, knowing that there are things that you want to achieve today and working out how you're going to achieve them. And if you feel that you really can't achieve those, then knowing who you need to flag that up to. And that's what I like about the simple principles. And you may have heard of KISS. Some people call it keep it simple, stupid, but I don't like that one. I like it, keep it simple to succeed. So have your purpose and intentions for the day clear in your mind so that you know that you can succeed. And the other thing is actually looking at what have you achieved today? Is there one thing that you can think you've achieved today? Try for 3 things, or maybe 5 things. Fits with the 5 a day campaign. You're supposed to have 5 fruit and veg a day. Well, why not 5 things that you can achieve today that are really positive? And it doesn't necessarily have to be large things. It can be small things. Because actually, if you listen to the feedback that you get from people, often it's the small details that matter. So, for example, I helped a resident who'd fallen over get up, and it wasn't quite that simple. She had poor mobility, she'd fallen off her mobility scooter, and there was no possibility of getting a hoist into the room that she'd fallen over in. It was not a patient area. She shouldn't really have been in there, but, you know, accidents will happen, all these sort of things. And she said thank you to me. And a couple of days later, I went back to her and I said, could you just explain to me exactly why you were thanking me? Because I want to understand what it is that I did right for you so that if that situation happened again, I could do the same things for somebody else. And she explained that my calm manner, the way that I took time to assess the situation and didn't make quick snap decisions, that I respected her opinion, that I checked out how much she could do in order to help herself get up without just rushing for thinking about, yeah, we must get a hoist in here at all costs. And that really taught me a lot listening to her feedback, because it would have been really easy for me to just say, when she said thank you, oh, it's nothing, it's just my job. That's what I do. It's not a problem. So it's being attuned to not only my needs, but also to the needs of those that I'm serving. And I know that giving people time to make decisions, to make choices, to take action, to do the best for themselves is something that I'm good at and something that I could help you do if that's an area that you need help in. So thanks very much for coming here today. And I'd love it if you could leave some comments in the box below. I'd point, but oh, go on, I'll point anyway. The box below, yeah, in the comments box. And then just a thumbs up or a love, heart, whatever just to say hi and that you've listened. That would be really good because, hey, I'm talking to a camera at the moment and I know you're out there, but I can't see you. So getting some feedback from you would be really super important. So again, thanks for tuning in and we'll catch up again next Wednesday. And what are your 5 a day that you've achieved today? Thanks for listening. Bye.